Well, hey, Eastside family and friends, I have something really important to share, and I wanted you to hear it directly from me because I love you and this church so much. Late this year, around 8 months from now, I will be stepping out of my role as your senior pastor. And with the blessing of our elder board, I'll assume a new role, serving, coaching, and encouraging churches and pastors as Eastside's pastor at large. It's been one of the greatest privileges of my life to serve as your pastor for nearly 18 years. I fell in love with this church when I began my ministry journey as an intern here when I was just 20 years old, and I've been crazy about this church ever since. What an adventure with God we have experienced serving Jesus together. Now, while this announcement possibly seems sudden, I want to assure you, it's been years in the making. 6 years ago, I asked some trusted advisors to be my thought partners around succession planning. And 4 years ago, I initiated a multi-year conversation with our church board about preparing for this inevitability. Because in the words of that great theologian, Rocky Balboa, time takes everybody out. Time's undefeated. And the reality is, I'll turn 67 on my next birthday. So over the last 4 years, our board and I have spent many hours studying the topic of successful pastoral succession, reading books, leaning into the wisdom and counsel of experts, and carefully and prayerfully identifying the ideal qualities of Eastside's next senior pastor for an exciting new chapter ahead. Barbara and I have both had a heart and a spirit throughout this process that has never been driven by a date on a calendar, but instead defined by the moment God would make it clear that we have found the next pastor to lead and shepherd this church that we both love so much. And I believe, and our board unanimously agrees, we have found that person. So this weekend, join us on an Eastside campus because not only do I want to tell you a little bit more about this journey, I also have the privilege to reveal our future senior pastor. And as a sneak peek, he's one of the most experienced, effective, and Christ-like pastors I know anywhere in the world today. And we will be so blessed to have him and his wife, who are just entering the empty nest stage of life as they move to Southern California several months from now. I'm so thrilled that instead of being led by a pastor whose best days of ministry are behind him, Eastside will be led in the years ahead by a pastor whose best days of ministry are ahead of him. Now, the good news for me is I still get to be your pastor for another 8 months or so. The bad news for you is you're stuck with me for a while longer. So seriously, we're nowhere close to a goodbye. You know, in the 64-year history of Eastside, this church has only had 4 senior pastors, and I feel so blessed to be a part of that legacy. Back in 2020, I started a succession journal, and I wrote down a verse that's been a prayer I've prayed literally hundreds of times since then, from Numbers chapter 27, a prayer for the next pastor of Eastside. May the Lord, the God who gives breath to all living things, appoint someone over this community to go out and come in before them, one who will lead them out and bring them in, so that the Lord's people will not be like sheep without a shepherd. God has answered that prayer. See you this weekend, and remember, Barbara and I love you, Eastside, and the best is yet to come.